Hello and welcome to Hammer's Chat new show, which is called Talk West Ham. Very identical to another thing you might have heard of with the word talk in it. It gives you the chance to phone in and talk about anything West Ham, and you can choose a topic. Whether you want to have a rant about the ticket office, you want to phone in and praise Payet, or you just want to be really happy about Lanzini, or maybe you've got a season ticket, maybe you haven't, come and let us know. To get involved in future, it will all be on our forum at hammerschat.com, also on our social media, facebook.com/hammerschat, and Twitter it's at hammers_chat. So it's very easy to get in touch with us, and anyone is welcome on. I'm starting with a regular though. I've got Tom with me. Tom, we're going to be talking about Mark Noble's testimonial with yourself. What do you make of Mark Noble?
Truthfully, I wasn't looking forward to him playing in the team this season at the beginning of the season because I heard we had Alex Song back, and I've been proven wrong really. I mean, apart from the first 5 games of the season, I mean, Mark Noble has upped his game, and I think it's just the quality of players he's training with. I mean, now he no longer sort of checks back and sort of goes back all the time. He goes forward, and he's got really, really skillful, and I think that's the players in training that he's learning off of. Different calibre from last year to this year. Payet, Lanzini, all these players that are in the team, like, you know, that he's training with, and they're teaching him things, and he's just a completely different player. And no, he's proved me wrong, and he's an important part of the team now.
Gonzo, do you agree with that? Are you seeing a different Mark Noble to what you expected in August?
Yeah, I think the phrase that Tom used then was he's upped his game, and he certainly has upped his game. He's playing at a different level now, and it's quite apt to talk about it because the whole England thing, where he's obviously not been selected. Saw him today. He was doing promotion for his upcoming testimonial. He looked a bit glum, you know, and you can sort of understand that because he's a million miles better than Jordan Henderson, isn't he? Let's be perfectly honest with you. Who's going to get picked? James Milner. I guess he's in the squad. I've not even looked. So to be perfectly honest with you, I'm a bit disgusted that we're a bit riding so high in the league and there's no England players in the England squad, bearing in mind that, you know, there's no West Ham players in the England squad, bearing in mind how well we're doing and how many English players we've got.
Well, one of our callers that's going to be calling in shortly is coming to talk about the England call-up, so do hang on for that one. Tom, I'm going to put this to you. We've signed a centre midfielder from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Is Mark Noble the centre midfielder that could lose his place? Because Bilic has only played with 2 of them, Noble and Kouyaté. If we've signed another one, and let's just say we sign an improved centre midfielder, is Mark Noble the one that's going to miss out?
No, I don't. I mean, Bilic is one for obviously playing people, and at the moment, Noble's having the season of his career. I mean, it's unbelievable. So going into next season, when that player comes in, you can't. I mean, I don't know. It depends on the off season and things like that, and that comes down to Bilic in the day, doesn't it? Really, but for me personally, you can't drop Noble. I mean, because he's Mr. West Ham. He's claret and blue through and through.
Do you agree with that, Gonzo, or do you think Mark? Big fan of Noble. I think if anyone's looking over their shoulder in centre midfield, it's Mark Noble.
Yeah, quite possibly, but I think it's a moot point really because it looks highly likely we're going to qualify for Europe. We are qualifying for Europe. You can just absolutely, whether it's a Euro League on a Thursday or the Champions League on a Wednesday, you know you're not going to have the same team playing Wednesday and Saturday or Thursday and Sunday, so it really doesn't matter. It's not about being precious about 11 players. So, you know, if the guy does come in and he looks excellent, by the way, the Norwegian chap, then I think we could see any sort of combination of players.
Tom, before I say cheerio to you, you're going on Monday to Mark Noble's testimonial. Who are you looking forward to seeing the most on the pitch?
It's got to be Di Canio for me personally. I mean, Di Canio. I've even heard rumours. I mean, he's not on the team sheet. I've even heard rumours Bilic might be putting in a little appearance. Who knows? I mean, it's just going to be a fantastic occasion, you know. And it's fully earned. The guy, how many years has he been at the club now? 15 or 13 years or something with the 15. He's been there for all his career since he was a youth, and it's just absolutely brilliant for him. And it's just going to be an eventful day. It's going to be a brilliant day for everyone to have a bit of a laugh and thing. And I didn't actually realise it was the full team actually playing, like, you know, the actual full West Ham team playing. So it's going to be good. It's going to be really, really good.
Well, Tom, thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy Monday. Catch you later.
No problem.
Cheers, Tom.
It's time for our second caller, and it is new caller. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Chris, West Ham fan, lifelong, from Felixstowe, here to talk about Kouyaté.
Well, thank you for joining us. You must have been happy with these news then that he signed a new 5-year deal at West Ham.
Oh, it's wonderful news. I think he's such an underrated player in the squad. The understanding he's got with Noble, the way they interact and complement each other playing, it's unbelievable.
Gonzo, you're a huge Chiati fan as well. How happy were you to? How important, Gonzo? How important is Chiati's deal as a sign of the way West Ham are going?
It's a sign. It's a sign of the times. We seem to be signing lots of new deals with all the players we want to keep. Nobody's leaving, and you know I like Kiate. He brings sort of much needed athleticism to the midfield. He covers centre back really, really well. We've got technical players. Noble's probably slightly more technical than him, but he brings energy. He brings tackling. He can actually skip past the guy. He's worth a few goals as well. When you've got players like Payet and Lanzini, you need somebody that's going to impose themselves physically in the midfield, and he gives us that. And I actually think he's one of the best in the league at doing it.
Chris, there was a lot of talk pre-season about other clubs looking at him. In January, a few whispers. Were you worried that going into the summer that a bigger club would come in for Chiati? Are you still worried, or do you think that deal just gets rid of everything?
I think last summer I was a bit concerned. After the performance he had last season, I thought it was kind of unfortunate not to win Hammer of the Year behind Cresswell. We had a great season. So last summer I was a bit concerned, but now we've tied him down on a longer contract. He seems to love the fans. We love him. He's said in his Instagram pictures and stuff like that how much he loves the fans and what he'll do for the club. So I'm not too worried now about him leaving.
Do you think he's in contention for Hammer of the Year this season, Chris, or does Mr. Payet overshadow everybody?
I think he should be. I think Payet will probably end up overshadowing because of what he's done for the club, and he's a flair player that West Ham fans love. But I think, in my opinion, I'd vote for him as Hammer of the Year, yeah.
Gonzo, do you think we've got the right owners now to keep people like Chiati at the club and fend off any bigger clubs coming in with their big checkbook?
They're the best owners I've ever known. At the Terence Brown years, where the crowd were not happy, we were selling players. We sold, Lampard. We sold Ferdinand. The list is endless. We looked like we were building such a good team as well. They got rid of the guys that are going to play Noble's testimonial, funnily enough. So we had the complement of young players and Carrick and Cole and Defoe, but we also had players like Di Canio in there. And they were supplemented by other, excellent pros at one point or another, like Les Ferdinand and people like that. And it really looked like we were going to, go on and do something, and we just couldn't keep the players. The Icelandics were an abomination. The owners now are doing everything that they said they'd do. Can't ask for more than that.
Well, I think Mr. Pedro Obiang is quite unfortunate to not get into the team. So, Chris, do you think Obiang will get into a lot of Premier League teams? The form he showed is amazing, do you not think?
I think he'd probably get into most teams. I think he's unfortunate not to get into our team. But you look with Song's not playing for us at the minute as well. And you look at the history he's got, the clubs he's played for. I think it's just showing how much squad depth we've got that we can have players like that in reserve to come in.
What do you make of the Song situation, Chris? Obviously, lots of talk that he's not going to get a new deal regardless unless he ups his game tenfold. But will you be sorry to see him go? Do you think it'll be a mistake letting him go, or are you hoping he gets a new deal?
I don't think he's going to have that much of an opportunity to show an improvement, because I don't think he's going to get in the team between now and the end of the season. And I'm not too worried if he goes. I think we've got better players in him who have performed better this season anyway. I think he hasn't performed well since his first half of his first loan spell. So I think it's not going to be a massive loss for us, I don't think.
Is that sign, Chris, of just how, I don't want to use the word big, but how good West Ham are now? That in fact, we've got Alex Song, can't even get in the team. We can get him on a free transfer in the summer. And not only are we saying no, we're even just debating it. A year ago, we just took him like that, wouldn't we?
Well, I think it's a sign of how far we've come underneath Gold and Sullivan, the players that they've brought along with Slaven Bilic. I think it does show that we are progressing much quicker than we were probably expecting, to be honest. And I agree, in the summer, if we could have got him on a free, we would have bitten Barcelona's hands off. But now, I'm not too worried about him not coming.
Gonzo, what's your final thoughts on Alex Song's situation? Are you happy to see him go back to Barcelona?
Yeah, no, not happy, because I'm never happy. It's one of the most frustrating things in football when somebody doesn't play to their potential. Alex Song, in terms of natural ability and technical ability, is or should be the best midfielder at the club. He has vision, he has passing, he's not a small lad, he's big, he shields the ball really well. You look at him when he gets in between a player, they will not get that ball back. But there's I don't know, attitude is a strong word, but he switches off. Is he fully motivated? You think he would be? He's playing for a contract. Look, if he's not motivated now and he's playing for a contract, would he be motivated if he was signed up for 3 years? I think it's a shame, but I do think it's the right decision that he goes back.
Well, if you would like to let us know your thoughts on Alex Song out there, you can get involved with the next Talk West Ham show in future, so keep your eyes on for that. But Chris, thank you very much for joining us on our very first show, and thanks for your thoughts on Kiati, Obiang and Song. Good luck with everything in future.
Cheers, thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris.
Right, it's time for caller number 3, and I'm pleased to say he's on the line. Caller number 3, introduce yourself, please.
Oi, I'm Evan. I am the presenter from the West Ham Way, and I believe we're here to talk about some England call-ups today, boys.
Yes, you are, or lack of them, rather. Come on, Evan, what have you got to say about it?
I think, along with a lot of us West Ham fans, we got to be not devastated, but I think more shocked than anything else that it's been so long since, I remember Stuart Downing last year, but so long these players have been overlooked. When Tompkins was a youngster, I think he deserved a call-up. He never came, and now Noble is in possibly the form of his career. I don't know if that's arguable, but and he's just not getting there. And you've got players like Henderson and Lallana and Milner and all of the above, and they're just creeping in. And he's supposed to be picking players on form, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it at all.
Yeah, totally agree. Gonzo, if there's one West Ham player who deserves a call-up, who is it in your opinion?
Well, I mean, I don't want to be harsh on Noble because I tell you what I said earlier. He's better than Milner. He's better than Henderson. You can't even argue that. They're purely their own reputation. He's been better than them all season. But by the same token, you could argue that perhaps Ross Barkley, Dele Alli are in really good form. If Wilshire's fit, okay, fair enough. I will accept that Mark Noble is not the best 1 or 2 midfielders in the country, although I do think he gets into the top 5. What I will not accept is there's a better left back than Aaron Cresswell at the moment, nor do not tell me there's a better right winger than Michail Antonio. The guy scores for absolute fun. Why isn't he even under consideration? Great point by Evan about Stuart Downing, because he did get in there. It was when he was playing centrally last season. Sam had him playing centrally. Hodgson got hold of him and stuck him out on the left, which is not what got him back into the England squad. Disgraceful.
Well, you just mentioned Aaron Cresswell there. Evan, what do you make of Ryan Bertrand pulling out of the England squad today? No call-up. They're only keeping Danny Rose, one left back in the squad.
What more do we have to do? What else can Aaron do to... It's got to be heartbreaking. It really has. He plays his heart out. He wears his heart on his sleeve every week. I think he's a fantastic left back. And if you're going to argue, Danny Rose, Tottenham is second for a reason. They've been built on solid foundations this year. So Danny Rose has got to be there. In the same way, I think you can't take Drinkwater out, but back to Cresswell. What more can he do? He's played consistent football for 2 seasons now. He never misses a game. Great with the ball, great without the ball, and it's taking the mick, really. There's not a lot else you can say to Roy, to be honest.
Gonzo, Hodgson, he didn't call up a replacement for Sterling or Bertrand, but he called up a replacement for his third keeper. Does that confuse you? It confuses me as a football fan.
England managers have confused me since Sven Capello confused. They all confuse me. I mean, the thing is, we keep on repeating the same mistakes as England, and we wonder why we don't ever win anything, why Spain and Germany, all these countries are so good. Let me tell you what will happen. What will happen is we will take an injured player or 2 along, someone like Rooney, who hasn't contributed. You know me, I can't stand Tottenham. Let's be honest, Kane deserves to start ahead of Rooney, as does Vardy. It won't happen. He'll take a couple of crocs along, and he won't take people in form. Henderson's been awful this season. He's terrible. I can't, honestly. Milner's past it. No offence, James, if he watches. He always watches this show, James Milner. It frustrates me. I almost don't want to talk about it. It really does my head in, honestly.
Evan, final thoughts. I actually think if any West Ham player goes to 2016, it's going to be Andy Carroll. Does that sum up Roy Hodgson for you?
I can think of a few words to sum up Roy Hodgson, to be honest. But he really hasn't got a clue. I mean, we could all be made humble pie at the end of the Euros if we win comfortably and we bring the trophy home. I'll give him credit where credit's due. But I think the moral of the story is, you've got to pick players who are in form. regardless of who they are, where they come from, they should all be given a clean slate, and that's never been the case with Roy, and I think that's the saddest thing about his whole sort of reign as England manager.
Fantastic. Well, Evan, thank you so much for joining us on our first Talk West Ham. We appreciate you. We hope to see you again in the future on other episodes. But thank you once again, and good luck with the West Ham way.
Cheers, boys.
Evan.
It's time for our next caller. I'm pleased to say we've got him here with us. Caller, what's your name?
Hi, my name's John, also known as Iron Hammer #1 on the Hammers Chat forum, and I collate the Prediction League.
Fantastic. Superb job he does as well. If you would like to join the Prediction League, you can join at any time. It's totally free on our forum at hammerschat.com, so do pop along and give us your support. John, let's give you a very, very tricky topic here. Let's do it very simple from the start. Fourth or FA Cup? If you had to choose one, what one and why?
I think personally, the FA Cup. I think Mark Noble had it right when he said another day out of Wembley, the last one while we're at the bowling ground, will be good. Much as fourth place in the league would be a bit of an achievement, I'm not convinced that we have the squad for the Champions League at the moment.
But John, do you not think finishing fourth opens the door to the financial world, if you like, to bring players to give us a squad to compete in the Champions League?
Yeah, it would, but that's not to guarantee that the players are going to want to come and play. You know, because, and I'm sure Leicester will have exactly the same problems when they, well, I think they're going to win the league, but they'll have exactly the same problem. It's going to be, whilst all the teams that were what you'd call mid-table now have the financial clout to buy the Arnautovic's and the Bojans and people like that, whether we can tempt enough players of the calibre that we're going to need to play Champions League football and keep the league runs going and the domestic cups, I have my doubts.
Gonzo, do you agree with that? Are you in the FA Cup camp? Or are you in the fourth spot camp?
Yeah, I'm in the FA Cup camp, but not for any quite so cerebral reasons. I just want the glory of the cup. It's been a long time since we've had the cup. We need a trophy. We desperately do. It's also worth noting, as far as the Champions League is concerned, Dave Sullivan made a really good point in the week. That is, if we get it, it'll be fourth position. You know, 1, 2, 3 have gone really by City's win and whatnot. That will be qualifying. But we'll go to the qualifying round. We'll be unseeded, and we're highly likely to get a German or a Spanish team. So it could well be that we play a 2-leg game in the Champions League and actually go into the Europa Cup anyway. So, yeah, I mean, it's got to be the cup. Got to win. You know, I'd love to win that cup.
Jack, with the league the way it is now, what is the bigger achievement, however, winning the FA Cup or fourth? What's the hardest thing to do?
Fourth. I mean, regardless of the opposition, a cup game's a cup game. It's a one-off. On the day, anybody could win a cup game. I think the consistency needed, especially in the Premiership, the way it's certainly this year, where everybody's beating everybody else. I think to get fourth place would be a fantastic achievement. But it's more about the consistency to actually keep going week after week after week after week. And fair play to Leicester, they've been doing it, so why can't we?
Gonzo, will we finish fourth?
I think stall. I think we will. I do think we will, because I just think a lot of our toughest games are gone. I think the stats suggest we will. We're doing really well at our place. The big teams, Arsenal and Man U, are actually coming to ours. Swansea, I think, will be. I think Watford. I really do. I think we'll get enough points to do it.
Jack, will we win the FA Cup?
Or John.
John.
I did say,
callers. John, will we win the FA Cup?
I did say call me what you like, but so at least that was fairly polite. Sorry, what was the question again?
Will we win the FA Cup?
I've been a West Ham supporter for 40 odd years, and being one of the old, I tend to be a lot more pessimistic than optimistic. I wish it was the other way round, but experience tells me that when I want it, we don't get it. When I'm not expecting it, we get it. So, no. In the hope that if we get there, we win it.
Well, John, for someone who complains when people get my name wrong, which happens a lot, I do apologise, but thank you very much for joining us on our first show of Talk West Ham, and hope to see you again in the future. And remember, guys, watching, Prediction League is on hammerschat.com. John runs it. Thank you very much from us at Hammerschat for running it. But take care, John.
Cheers, John.
Thanks very much. Good to see you. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
mate.
It's time for our second last guest. I'm delighted to be joined by someone that me and Gonzo know, but in case you don't know who he is, introduce yourself, new guest.
Hello, I'm Jack from Irons Talk. On my own YouTube channel, make sure you check it out and subscribe.
That's a plug. He's just done a plug, isn't he?
There's a bigger plug in this channel than there is on my kitchen sink, but we will put a link to Jack's YouTube channel in the description of this video on YouTube, because we're nice like that. Jack, you're here to talk about summer targets or summer transfers. Hit us with it.
Well, a lot of targets been coming out this week and the past couple of weeks, and I've noticed about the strikers that we're linked with, and there's a couple, and there's Michy Batshuayi, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and Lacazette, and I think they're two very good strikers, and I think they would do us a very good job at West Ham.
Do you know a lot about them, Jack, or have you been looking them up since we've been rumoured to be linked with them?
Well, I've looked up about Batshuayi on YouTube, and he looks like a very good striker, but I haven't seen much of Lacazette.
So right now, if you had to pick one, which would you pick?
Well, what I've seen of Batshuayi, I think I've got to go with him because he's a very strong player, and he seems to have quite a decent amount of pace with him as well.
Gonzo, out of those two strikers, either you'd prefer or are you not too fussed?
Well, I thought I'd talk about a bigger picture, really, but it's actually the other one, which is Lacazette is the one I know about. The old unpronounceable one, I'm not so sure. Lacazette's one of the up-and-coming French stars. He's an excellent finisher as well. He's pacey, he's skillful, not as big and strong and commanding as the other fella. But we've also been linked with Benteke, so there's contrasting views about what sort of striker we're after. The bigger point is I do only think we're only on the terms of the team. I do only think we're a very, very good striker away from being an exceptionally good team. I really do. I think a regular right back and that's that striker. You saw when Sacco came on at the weekend at the start, and he's not really fully fit. Just the way he was holding the ball up, linking play. When we get a top striker, we will be a match for anyone.
Well, Jack, let's talk about another couple of strikers we've been linked with. Gonzo just mentioned one there, the £32.5 million flop at Liverpool, Benteke, who said he's not happy sitting on the bench and he wouldn't have signed for Liverpool if you could ever hint for a move away. I think he's just done it. Would you take Benteke at West Ham, Jack?
I don't think I would, no, because I know he's proven it at Villa, but I just don't think, like Sullivan said in the week, that I don't think he's interested in because of wages, and I think that's a big reason why. But also, I just think we need to go for someone that's proved goal scorer this season and that can carry it on next season. But I think Benteke wouldn't be good for us.
Do you not think he has proved it, though, Jack? I think Benteke has proved it in the Premier League. At Villa, he had a goal ratio of just under 1 in 3 games, so not quite 3 games. He scored a goal every 3 games, which is just as good as any striker West Ham's had in recent years, I think. Or are you judging on his Liverpool form as well?
It's a difficult one because he has proved it at Villa, but I think at Liverpool his confidence has dropped a bit, and I think if he comes to us, I don't know if he'll bring that confidence with us. It's very low, and I don't think he'll be on the best of form as well.
Gonzo, do you agree with that? Would you see Benteke at West Ham? I've seen a lot of people split over this on social media this last week. Some people saying, no way, get him away from this club. And a lot of people saying, well, actually, at Villa, no West Ham fan would have complained if we signed him from Aston Villa.
No, indeed. But I mean, Jack's right. His confidence is shot. But he's not the only one at Liverpool, is he? Let's be honest with you. It's like a graveyard for players at the moment, that place. Lallana's come. There was centre-back Lovren, is it? There's a lot of players you could go through. Firmino, there's a lot of guys who have come to that club and they're nothing like the players that were signed. So something's going on there. There's a bigger picture. I don't know what exactly it is. Benteke's excellent. I think just before he went there, he'd scored something like 43 goals in 80 Premier League games. It's an absolute beast. The only thing I would perhaps argue about him is Bilic seems to be making a system whereby that front striker needs to be mobile. He's pulling left and right and all the time and sort of running the channels. I'm not sure Benteke, even at his best, is that player. I think almost he's probably too big and a little bit maybe a little bit too much of a target man for what we require.
Gonzo, do you not think he's the right kind of mix between, he's not Andy Carroll and he's not Sacco, but he's somewhere in the middle? Do you not think that's what Bilic needs, an option of all three different types of strikers?
Quite possibly, but I do honestly think that he's not quite mobile enough if he does get out wide. I really rate it. I would not complain if we sign him. But out the three, from what I've seen, I would sign Lacazette. But I'm not one of these people who go, oh no, Benteke, get him away from the... Make no mistake about it. Benteke came, he would be the best striker at the club. He'd have to be. It's only really this season. Before that, he was on a par with Lukaku pretty much every season. One would get the better for... They'd go in little patches of form, one would be better than the other. This season, Lukaku's gone off. But as I say, I do think Liverpool's a graveyard shift for many a player at the moment.
Jack, before you disappear, do you agree with Gonzo there that we're one top striker away from being the next Leicester City?
Yeah, definitely. I do agree with that because I've watched most games this season, and there's some times when like Cresswell or the wingers get the ball down the wing and they'll put a cross in. And I just think our striker's not always in the right position. There sometimes when we have that top quality striker, he'll be there and he'll finish them like half chances that we get. But yeah, I definitely agree with Gonzo. I think we are missing that one big striker.
Well, before you disappear, I think Mr. Gonzo's got something to say to your little speech there.
Yeah. Just quickly on it, otherwise the comments will pop up on how it goes. I do think Sacco is and can be of that calibre. Unfortunately, Mr. Sacco will get an injury every season, it seems. He's not majorly injury prone like Carroll, but he does miss large chunks. You can't. And of course, every other season he could disappear off the African Cup of Nations. So I do think we probably need somebody who is going to almost guarantee be fit like Cresswell, and almost play 30, 35 games a season.
Fantastic point. He is away to African Nations next season in January. For you viewers out there, what do you think about our striker? You can let us know on the forum at hammerschat.com, YouTube comments below, or you can come on the next Talk West Ham show and let us know and have a rant. But Jack, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck with your YouTube channel, and we'll keep watching it. But thank you for supporting us tonight.
Thank you.
Cheers, Jack.
Well, it's almost the end of the show. We've got our last caller with us now. Last caller, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Steve, Rhodes Iron on Hammer's Chat, and funnily enough, I live in Rhodes in Greece, and it's lovely.
Fantastic. Well, we've thrown the topic of Manuel Lanzini signing his permanent deal finally to Steve. Steve, how happy were you to see Lanzini sign on the dotted line?
Oh, superb, mate, superb. I just can't believe what's happening. I think when we first got him on loan, right, I thought he was like going to be. He was put in with the less, if you can say that, the lesser players in the Europa League ties, and I thought he was going to be used as a bit of a make weight, if you like. But oh my God, the bloke's awesome. Whatever he was playing in the Emirates for, I can't believe we got him. It's awesome. Well, yeah. A bit of that.
Gonzo, how happy were you to see Lanzini sign?
Yeah, I mean, outstanding. He's technically superb. What I would say about him is I think he's benefited from coming this season. There were rumours we were interested the season before. He'd have come in under Sam, he'd have gone the same way as Wellington Paulista or Nene or Brian Montenegro. I think Sam would have taken one look at him, thought he's a bit too fancy down for me, he's too lightweight, he's too skinny, and he would have been one of those loanees. And let's be honest with you, David Sullivan would like to loanee every season that was a bit technical to try and help the manager out. I think he would have sat on that bench and Sam just would not have used him. We were watching Kevin Nolan running around and thinking, what about this little skillful Argentinian fella? And he would have been sent back to the United Arab Emirates.
Do you agree with that, Steve? Is Lanzini the type of player we've been missing the last, I'd say, decade at West Ham?
It's just like it goes. It's beyond belief. Like what we've been used to for the last, well, at least 6 or 7 years. It's just like mediocre players who sometimes step up to the mark. And whenever we get, I mean, the classic last year was Zarate. I mean, okay, we shipped him out this year, but last year he was head. I thought he would have been head and shoulders above everyone else, but on the bench, shipped out to QPR, and you know that was the way. And to be honest, if we'd have kept the big fat one, then it would have been exactly the same this year, wouldn't it? It would, wouldn't it? Come on.
The big fat one, I love it.
We wouldn't have seen him.
Steve, we paid 9
He would have
million.
been sitting on the beach.
Steve, we paid 9
Sorry?
million for Lanzini. How much of a bargain is that? 9 million quid for Lanzini. How much is he worth, do you think?
Well, when you think if Payet is worth 10 million, then well, Lanzini must be worth like, it's ridiculous. Like, how can we get a player of that quality for 9 million quid? You know, what else could you get for 9 million quid these days? Jordan Henderson for that and a bit more? I don't know. I'd knock him round in the 20 million mark.
Definitely,
God
I
knows
totally
what
agree with
Payet would be worth.
Gonzo, he signed a 4-year deal with an option for a further 2. Is this very, very clever? Is this a different style of strategy by West Ham going into transfers?
Yeah, I mean it is, but we seem to be doing that. That seems to be the way. I forget about these contracts; they are excellent. What I do think is, and you sort of touched on it then, was the scouting. Let's rewind back to the last year. At the start of the last year, there was a meeting outside David Sullivan's house. The press were there. David Sullivan, David Gold, Karen Brady, they released a statement, and they basically said they will be taking more control of transfers, okay? Taking more hands-on role. Since that happened, it has been an unmitigated success. It's absolutely brilliant. Other clubs, particularly Liverpool, who think nothing of spending £35 million on a player, must be looking at what we're doing. And I think Sullivan is basically playing a director of football role. We've got Tony Henry, who's head of scouting or head of recruitment, whatever you want to say. They must be looking at people like Cresswell coming in for £4 million, people like Lanzini for 9 million. Payet for 10, 3.5 million Diafra Sakho, I tell you. Kiete, 7 million. They must be looking at that thinking, what on earth are they doing? Because we should be doing some of that. Yes, the contracts have been excellent, the way we're tying them up, but the whole recruitment process, God, we wasted 9 million on Diarra and Maiga. Those days are gone.
Steve, before we say cheerio to you, a very, very tough question. Can Lanzini become better than Dimitri Payet?
Well, he's certainly younger, and I think playing in a team with the likes of Payet, even Antonio, you can bring into that now. The better players you've got around them, the better they're going to be. I mean, God, he's only like stepped into the Premier League like no time at all, and the bloke is great. And do you know, he does a lot. He's so much. You might think he disappears for the odd game or two, but he doesn't. The bloke puts so much work in. It reminds me of Ronaldo, but a little bit more of a subdued Ronaldo. You know, he's quite prepared to put a shift in, and he's also he can pull the rabbit out of the hat anytime he likes. The bloke's very good.
No, very good.
To say the least. And yes, he can be as good as Payet, definitely.
Well, Steve, fantastic. Thank you very much for calling in and supporting us on our first show. Lovely having you here on Talk West Ham.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's been a privilege.
Cheers, Steve. See you on the forum, mate.
Nice one. Nice to meet you guys.
Good man.
You too. Take care, buddy. Well, that's it for all the guests. Thank you very much to them all for popping on. The descriptions are below for their YouTube channels, if they do have one or not. Gonzo, thank you. What did you make of our first Talk West Ham?
You know what? I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so nice to get all the different opinions off everybody, and everybody's, but it's a lot. Some of the subjects we seem to cover so many subjects, and a lot of guys. But I'm certainly looking forward to doing it again. And for anyone that's watched and wants to get involved, then please do. We'd certainly love to have you on. For anyone that just wants to keep watching, and obviously don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
Well, as Gonzo said, if you're sitting at home watching thinking, I can do a better job than that, I want to have a rant, I want to go on and say this or that, then please do. We need you to. The show's all about you, so we need you at home. Again, Twitter at hammers_chat, facebook.com/hammerschat, or come on to the forum, hammerschat.com. The URL's changed, so if you type in that, it'll take you straight to the forum, 100% free to join. But let us know if you want to come on. We'd love to have as many of you on as possible. But again, thank you very much for watching our very first episode of Talk West Ham. We've been Hammer Chat. I've been Gio. That's been Gonzo. Good night.